Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Green. So much green. Too much green. I kind of want to just hurry up and get through this section because, I don't really like the color green. Right, so we're using the Little Thief to investigate a crime that took place 12 years ago. One Mr. Cameron photographed the moment that the president of Geneva was held at gunpoint and kidnapped. Unfortunately, he was hit by a brick to the back of the head, and we determined with some sleuthing that apparently the location of Cameron at the time he was bricked doesn't match up with the evidence that was handled by the courts 12 years ago. So we determined that Cameron is right here, which means that the gunman and the president were probably elsewhere, so let's investigate this. No matter how you look at it, this is strange. All the people involved in the case are gathered in the same place. Did we make a mistake here or something? One piece of evidence this recreation is based on is odd. If I had to choose which piece of evidence is fake, which piece of evidence is likely to be fake? Probably the photo. Evidence points to Cameron standing right here so he could scrape the face of the snowman as he fell. It's this photo which doesn't add up with all the evidence surrounding that. Was this photo really taken by Mr. Cameron? Huh? What do you mean? We have proven that whoever killed Mr. Cameron also moved the body. For what reason would they have to deliberately move his body? Perhaps the culprit wanted to falsify the scene that Mr. Cameron witnessed. And that's why they took a fake photo. They made the president stand under the streetlight and took a photo with Cameron's camera. It would have been quite simple. Now that you mention it, Mr. Cameron's camera only had one photo on it, right? Well, if this is true, why the hell didn't President Juan testify that the assailants made him do this after he was, recovered? Huh? Indeed. In all likelihood, the original roll of film had been removed from the camera. Oh, wait. What if the reason Juan didn't do that I just described is because maybe the real president was killed, and then it was the body double who came back. After all, it is my theory that a body double of some sort really did take President Di Jun Huan's place 12 years ago. I mean, Shilong Lane does say that after the incident, the president changed completely and was almost like a different person. He literally just said that, almost like a different person. That's my theory, so yeah. That would explain why Juan wouldn't say as much, that he was forced to pose for this photo. Or maybe it's just as simple as he didn't notice. It could be that the gunman just said, hey, stand right here for a moment. And then Juan just didn't notice the other person involved taking a photo. And after loading a new roll of film into the camera, the fake photo was taken. I see. So this photo must have been taken after Mr. Cameron was killed, right? Wow. Exactly. This was not the scene Mr. Cameron actually witnessed. It's likely that this photo is forged evidence. Then where did Mr. Cameron witness the president and his kidnapper? The photo isn't the only piece of evidence that indicates what Mr. Cameron witnessed. Oh, the testimony he left on the answering machine. Precisely. We should listen to the recording one more time and confirm what was said. Where else could the president and his kidnappers have been? It won't actually let me listen to the recording. Well, I'm gonna guess like around here ish. They were over there? So what's the basis for that claim? Okay, now I can freaking listen to it. I'm in front of the facility now, but something's not right. Han is here of all places. The light just went off. I can barely see a thing now. The light. Okay. Do I really need a basis for my claims? Yes? In other words, you don't know, do you? So it wasn't there. Let's try remembering what Mr. Cameron said in his eyewitness testimony. Didn't he say something about his situation at the scene? Indeed. Mr. Cameron's testimony should provide a major clue. Where else could the president and his kidnapper have been? This light right here is off. Is on. This one's off. The light went off, I can barely see a thing. They were standing right here. Take that! Mr. Cameron said this on the answering machine. The light just went off. I can barely see a thing now. There are only two places here where the lights were broken. The light by the orphanage. Okay, could you please update the recreation? Roger. This is... So the kidnapper was near the orphanage. Indeed. With this, we've shown the connection between the orphanage and the kidnapping. So that's why they moved the body and took a fake photo to create a false testimony. In order to remove any suspicion towards the orphanage in court. With this, the state of the recreation has changed completely. The time the body was discovered seen has probably been greatly impacted as a result. Then let's go check it out right away. Preparations are ready. Since the state of the recreation has changed once again, I should press the Y button and select Change Recreation. Let's give it a try. Alright, so... Cameron's here now. Originally, Mr. Cameron's body was here. In order to be consistent with the fake photo, he was moved to the center of the flower beds. Then the footprints going back and forth from the body, could they be... Indeed, there is only one possibility at the moment. These footprints were probably left when the body was moved to the flower beds. Okay, nothing new about these. Well, let's look at this again. So then, I've placed the body near the snowman. Now that he's gone, it feels a little lonely around here. That's not a very proper way of putting it. Since the body isn't here, we might be able to find some new clues. Let's thoroughly investigate this area. Aye aye, Mr. Edgeworth. I can't hear you. Okay, nothing about the flower. The blood splatter above the snow. There certainly has a substantial amount, or was a substantial amount. It's almost as if the murder was actually committed here. But Mr. Cameron should have been attacked near the snowman. Exactly. In that case, this blood must belong to someone else. What? But the police report said this was Mr. Cameron's blood. The one in charge of this case was Blaise de Best. It would have been simple for him to falsify that information. But would it be faster to just clean up the bloodstains rather than falsify the information? He wouldn't be able to do that. Think about it. Blaise knew that Mr. Cameron's body would be discovered here, in which case the forensics department would naturally become involved. Oh, a luminol reaction. They would have discovered it with the power of science. Precisely. It would have been difficult to completely erase all traces of the blood. However, falsifying the results of a blood test would be much easier in comparison. He would just have to switch the results from the forensics reports. Oh, what a bummer. Knowing those documents I read were falsified? It looks like Mr. Cameron's clothes were completely soaked in blood. If the blood scattered here got onto Cameron's clothes, that would mean, at the time, the bloodstains here had not dried yet. I see. So then this certain somebody's blood was splattered here just a short while before Mr. Cameron was murdered. Indeed, that's exactly right. However, if that's the case, wouldn't a new contradiction arise in this recreation? Oh lord, I can deduce now. Well, there's a brick. Could I say that this murder weapon being here contradicts the... Well, no. We already settled the fact that the murder scene was doctored, and that brick was placed there to create a scene. I clearly need to deduce something. Oh. Well, no. I don't think so. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me see that one more time. Lost is someone else. Oh, maybe it was a mistake to not play for a day. Yeah, I'm coming to this video recording session a day after the previous one, so my memory of the fine details is very blurry. So, someone was seriously injured here and let out a lot of blood. Then Cameron was killed and placed on here, onto this blood, and it was still fresh and got on his clothes. Is there any evidence saying that everything was calm and tranquil here at the orphanage? Like, it says that, the president was in the embassy until midnight. Is this trying to say that maybe someone got here earlier? No. Maybe it's the time of death of Jack Cameron? Oh. Oh. So if Cameron was hit on the back of the head, and then he fell forward and his hand grabbed onto the snowman and scooped up the button, his blood wouldn't necessarily get on the button, well, would it? No, the blood that would get onto the button would belong to this anonymous blood here, wouldn't it? Maybe that's it. But I want to take a look real quick at the other stuff. Prior to the incident, a child's prank caused a fire on the facility grounds. Maybe there was more to that prank? Well, I don't think there's a contradiction here between the bloodstain and the fact that there was a fire. Okay. Yeah, no, I think it might be the button. I hope it's the button. Oh god, please. I think I only have one heal left in the game, and what I end up having for my HP after I'm done with this investigation, that's what I'm gonna have to work with in the final cross-examinations. Oh, please. Oh. Son of a... I should think this over one more time. So the snow was melted by the fire? We should keep in mind when exactly the fire started and take a closer look at the area. Huh? How, I just explained my logic of how these don't relate, how? What? This is a clear contradiction. No? It's not clear to me. Huh? You mean this bloodstain? Do you see how this bloodstain is broken up by the remains of the fire? Come to think of it, the top end of the bloodstain does kind of just end abruptly. I didn't even think about the shape of the bloodstain. This is proof that the fire occurred after the blood had scattered around the area. Huh? But I thought the fire occurred before the murder. It seems that information is suspect as well. If the fire had broken out after the murder, then the child who started the fire should have seen the body and the bloodstains. Why, then, did they not come forward as a witness? It's likely that would have put a blaze at a great disadvantage. Guess we'll need to investigate this fire in more detail. Hey, you. Yes, sir. There should be some records of the fire in the police department under a different case file. I want you to bring me every last investigation report about the fire. Understood, Sifu. Oh, and one more thing. What is it, sir? Contact the House of Lane in Zhenfa. Should be evidence from this case in my old man's room. What do you mean? Just remembered. I recognized this scene. A long time ago, I saw a picture in my old man's room. It was a drawing resembling this scene. What did you say? However, I think it looked something like a child drew. A child? Then the artist may have been the culprit behind the fire. Should still be somewhere in my old man's room. Have them send it over here. Understood, sir. A little bit off from a full heal, but I'll take it. Yeah, oh my god, you can even see the north end of the bloodstain isn't, like, silhouetted in yellow. Oh. Sifu, I'm back! Wow, that was really fast. I brought the info on the fire the kids started and a photo of the drawing in your father's office. And also... I've been waiting for this. Hurry up and hand them over. Also? What was also? The information held by Agent Lane's father. Huh? 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 Well, that's clearly Sir Han Dogen and his dog, which I forget the name of. Anubis, that's right. But the thing I'm focusing in on most is the president's bull doll. Which, I think this might completely destroy my theory. My theory about the replacement of the president with the body double. My theory is that the president didn't care at all for the bull, for Muzilla, and it's just the double who has an obsession. If this original president actually did have the bull doll, well... Actually, you know what? No, there's still a way this could work. Maybe. The original Juan, got the doll from right here. And, maybe it was like a gift from some child he was talking to. And maybe brought the Muzilla doll with him, and the body double, when replacing the president, saw that he had it and assumed the president was a big fan, and so took on that trait, believing it was part of the original personality. No, I think my theory sunk. Though I will say, the president has in his other hand a bouquet of the white flowers, which symbolizes the bond between parent and child. Why would the president of a foreign nation visit an orphanage in another country with a bouquet like that? That is interesting. Also, why would Dogen do this? Dogen's an assassin, not a kidnapper. He should have wanted to kill the president, so what's the deal here? Unless the president actually was killed and the blood belongs to him, and then the body was moved, and then the double was the one who came here right away and was the one who posed for the photo. Wait. Okay, you know what? I could literally just stay here all day talking about stupid-ass theories. Let's just go on. This is it. It's exactly what I remembered. This was the picture drawn by the child, depicting the night of the incident. It sure looks like it was drawn with the child's touch. As I thought, the one who drew this is most likely the child who started the fire. Also, I just noticed that the clock is showing midnight exactly. Well, maybe it's the body double in this. If the real president was in the embassy till midnight, maybe the double was over here. Or maybe it was the double at the embassy and the real president was here. This is so stupid! I'm going insane! What's the answer? Oh, jeez. The Sifu. What now? Sorry, but it's gonna have to wait. But the also... He has another thing. Come on, dude. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. How do you think my old man had this? Perhaps he obtained it during the course of his investigation into the incident. Although I don't know why he would have concealed it. Agent Lane, might I be able to see the details of the fire? Yeah, sure. Allow me to read it post-haste. The boy who started the fire snuck out of bed on the night of the incident. It seems this boy went missing several days later. What? Don't tell me that he witnessed something he shouldn't have. That's horrible. He was only a child after all. Okay, maybe it's because I'm just on the subject of stupid-ass theories, but didn't oh god, what's his name? Pastry man with the scars and the hat with the cut on it. Didn't he say that he abandoned his son and his son hasn't been seen in years? What the hell was his name? I mean, this does ring a bell, pun intended this time, because, Dogen's bell and all that, That's horrible! He was only a child after all! While I'd hate for that to be the case, we can't rule out the possibility entirely. Apparently the boy left some stuff behind at the orphanage and was taken as evidence. What's this? What's that doing here? Mr. Prosecutor, do you recognize this? Yes, I know one piece of evidence that's related to it. Which piece of evidence is related to what the boy left behind? Take that! I don't know what it's doing here, but isn't that the missing horn from this Muzilla doll? No way! You mean this came off the president's? You know of it? Yeah, I've noticed the president kept it close by as a decoration. I always thought it was strange how one of the horns was missing. If you twist the horn, this doll will play back any previously recorded audio. So what was the function of the other horn? So if we put the missing horn back in place, we might be able to hear a different recording. Ooh! Indeed, it is possible. The doll is currently on the 51st floor of the Grand Tower. Hey, you! Heard that, right? Yes, sir. I'll be right back. Sifu, I've got it! The mighty Muzilla doll! Well done. Give it to the prosecutor over there. if we insert the horn found at the orphanage into the doll. It's a perfect fit! Well, can you hear anything? Mr. Han, it's Amy. It's been a while. Amy? I saw the news that you would be coming to this country. I was really nervous about doing this, but I decided to send you a message. Please stop the playback! Judge Courtney? Well, what's wrong? Stop it now! It's a boy. Your son. He's just been born. John is 13. The timeline does match. I'm sorry, that's all I wanted to tell you. His name is John. John Marsh. It's a fine name for him, don't you think? This game's on another level. Marsh? Did she say John? I'll be waiting in the courtyard of the orphanage at midnight on February 9th. Even if it's just once, I want John to be able to meet you. I'm sorry if I'm being selfish, but I'll be waiting. No way. That was my... John. What's the meaning of this, Miss Courtney? John is not my biological son. Oh. Okay. Well, I guess she wasn't like 16 when she had John then. Okay, wow. He's adopted. Did John know about this? Oh, God! Of course he knew. Oh, thank God. John's mother, Amy Marsh, passed away about 5 years ago. She and I were cousins. Since we were young, we've always been really close. We were often mistaken for sisters. That's why, when she passed away, I thought it was only natural that I look after John. Also, there were circumstances which prevented me from revealing his father's identity. I never even told John his father's name. And now it's all been revealed, thanks to the recording on that doll. Did John's mother send the doll to the president? Huh. Hey. John. I was gonna actually look. Hold on. Let's see. Age 58. Boy, he really did the do with a really young woman, didn't he? Uh-oh. That's gross. John, was he, the president, really my dad? Yes, he was. Before you were born, Amy worked as a diplomat in Geneva. A diplomat? So that must be how she became acquainted with President Juan. Hang on. Didn't you tell me she worked at the orphanage? Yes. After returning to this country, Amy left her job as a diplomat. She always had great passion for charity work, so she began working at the orphanage. Hey, Miss Courtney. So this Amy girl, she called the president there herself, but she never showed up at the scene of the SS5 incident. What's with that? Amy couldn't make it. Apparently someone had been following her the whole night. Perhaps it was Blaze. I can't say for certain, but it's possible that it was his doing. After that, Amy never got another chance to see the president again. So she died 5 years ago. This conversation must be painful for John. Oh, right. Hey, John, you thirsty? How about I buy us both some juice? We can go together. I'm a part of this too. I'll listen until the end. Besides, I can afford to buy my own juice. Oh, shut down by a kid. John, do you understand the reason I met with the president 2 days ago? The secret meeting from 2 nights ago. I wanted to tell him about Amy's death and that you were alive and well. But, I see. That's why you couldn't tell us your reasons for meeting with the president until now. I get it. She would have had to reveal his connection with John. I brought a bouquet of lion lilies, so that he would understand I truly did know about Amy. Those flowers are a dear memory to the president and Amy. The first present she received from the president was a bouquet of lion lilies. But now even he has passed away. If only he were still alive. Perhaps I could have introduced him to John.
Okay, I was gonna say you don't think that the June in Di Jun Huan is a reference to John, but nah.
Sifu, I'm sorry to interrupt this atmosphere, but there's something I need to say.
Oh, what is it now? Can't this wait?
Well, actually, there's one last item that's been delivered here from Zhenfa.
Yeah, thank you.
I have here the president's will.
What?
The president's will? My old man received a great number of special medals from the president himself. As a token of his trust, the president left his will in the protection of the Lane clan. Those medals and that will, they were the pride of our clan, our family treasure, so to speak. This is... Agent Lane, does that will have something to do with the current case?
You bet it does.
It says here, I hereby acknowledge John Marsh as my own son. Okay, well, unfortunately, presidency is not, something inherited by bloodline. Di Jun Huan is not a king. But, boy, this should set up John real nice. What? John's name is in the president's will? Are you certain that will was written by the president? Yeah, he entrusted it to the Lane clan even before the SS5 incident took place. Have to appraise it back home, but by the name of the Lane clan, this is the real deal. Di Jun Huan was the president of an entire nation. The existence of his son would have caused considerable controversy. However, he left behind a will just in case. This makes it doubly sure. Still can't believe it myself, but there's no room for doubt. John Marsh, you are the son of Di Jun Huan, president of Zhenfa. John? Did he run away? Oh. John. Yeah, I don't blame him for running. That's a lot to take in. Damn. John? So that guy was my dad. He found out about his own birth so suddenly. And furthermore, his newfound father is no longer in this world. I'd always been searching for my dad. John, I get it, all right? He's the president. I know it's a complicated situation. But we even met face to face during the filming. So then why? Huh? Why didn't he tell me who he really was? I'm sorry, John. Mom, you don't need to apologize. No matter how you look at it, it's all my fault. Yesterday I broke my promise with you and didn't even notice the fire on the roof. So I destroyed everything. I crushed it all. My dad, and those flowers that my mom carefully grew. John, please, for now, just don't think about anything. Just stay like this for a little while. Just for a little while, okay? The bond between a parent and child. That's the meaning behind Lion Lilies. I know it's not my style, but that flower is from Gen Fa. However, we have no means of protecting that bond. Agent Lane, allow me to say this. The case won't be solved by sentimentality alone. Therefore, shouldn't we do all that we can to solve it? Yeah, you're right. The recreation of the past has finished. Were your father's deductions correct? My old man took his deductions to the grave. Never told anyone about them. So who knows if they were right or not? In that case, what about your own deductions? I would like to hear what you think happened based on the recreation, in order for us to get closer to the truth of 12 years ago. Yeah, I was thinking it's about time. I can see it now, my old man's back, real close. I'll catch up to him for sure. To the truth that my old man uncovered. Well, here we go. There's no mistake that the president went to the orphanage. The stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. However, the president was kidnapped and Cameron just happened to witness it. If Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would have just been a kidnapping with no murder. Afterwards, the body was moved to the flower beds and a fake photo was taken. Was that what really happened 12 years ago? However, there's one thing I still don't get. Something you don't get. It's this. Why do they need to take a fake photo? Why would they go through all that trouble and even make the president take part in the photo? That's true. However, the answer to that riddle must lie somewhere within. Once we get past the layers upon layers of deductions, we shall surely reach it. It's like an onion. Yeah, that's right. I'd like to hear your deductions as well. Well, hey, he's being amicable and reasonable. That is nice. There's no mistake that the president went to the orphanage. Agent Lane, I'd like to verify a few things that may have seemed obvious at first glance. Are we certain that the president actually went to the orphanage? Okay, I get it. You're saying you want proof. Everyone's always demanding proof from Mr. Edgeworth, after all. You didn't have to tell him that. The stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. You mean this stuffed animal? The one with the recording device? That's right. Inside that toy was a recording from John's birth mother, Amy Marsh. Indeed. She said that she would meet with him at midnight. Wow, you two are perfectly in sync.
and cinch? The truth is becoming clear, like you're peeling off the layers of a scale. Okay, maybe it was onto something with the Shrek reference. Okay, a scallion doesn't have anything on the inside. Please don't make such foreboding analogies. Yeah, she meant onion. The truth is becoming clear, like you're peeling off the skin of a wolf? Oh, no. Can you stop making those foreboding analogies? Let's get back on track. However, the president was kidnapped, and Cameron just happened to witness it. I'd also like to verify the details of this point as much as possible. Mr. Cameron witnessed the president and his kidnapper near the orphanage. And Mr. Cameron was standing by the snowman near the road. Then the murderer picked up a brick, snuck up on him from behind, and wham! Eek! Okay, we are simply verifying what actually transpired. There's no need to be scared. That was so intense. Half of the details of this case just vanished from my brain. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Lane, let's carefully verify all the facts of this case. Yeesh. Well, if you're gonna listen, I'll talk as much as you want. If Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would have just been a kidnapping with no murder. If he hadn't been there, you say? That's an interesting theory. Care to explain in more detail? It's simple. Cameron was killed because he saw the kidnapping. The kidnapping itself was a success. If he hadn't been there, no blood would have been spilled. No blood would have been spilled. You make it sound like it was his own fault for being there. Okay, that's not it. What Agent Lane's trying to say is, simply, besides Mr. Cameron, there were no other casualties at the crime scene. Oh, was that all? Of course, that's obvious. The president was kidnapped, but once the ransom money was paid, he was returned safe and sound. Was he? Was he, though? That sounds like an obvious point, however, something about it bothers me. I may need to reevaluate the evidence once more. You done explaining things to your assistant? Still have one last thing to confirm. Yeah, I think I know what to do here. Afterwards, the body was moved to the flower beds and a fake photo was taken. That's also an important point. I like to take another good clean look at the information. Yeah, I'm with you there. Let's start with what Cameron saw before he was murdered. Cameron witnessed the president and the kidnapper in front of the orphanage. However, the culprit wanted to conceal the connection between the incident and the orphanage. That's right. That's why Cameron's original roll of film was disposed of. And a fake photo was taken of them standing outside the grounds of the orphanage. Yes, and Cameron's body was then moved to match the photo. It's finally becoming clear. The secret that was buried in the snow for 12 years. Is this the truth of the SS5 incident? Mr. Edgeworth, what's the matter? There is still something hidden behind this case. Huh? What do you mean? There is a piece of evidence that cannot be explained by Agent Lane's theory. As long as there's a contradiction, we'll have to present it in order to advance our reasoning. Okay. Mysterious bloodstain. If the eyewitness, Cameron, had not been there, no murder would have taken place. Is that really the case? The criminal's goal was only to kidnap the president. If there were no witnesses, there would have been no need to commit murder, right? And what if Cameron wasn't the only one who was murdered? There was a large bloodstain near the flower beds. However, Cameron was murdered near the snowman. Ergo, this bloodstain could not have belonged to Cameron. Someone else's blood was spilled, and quite a vast amount at that. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any idea what you're saying? I do. It's hard to believe, however, that is what the evidence indicates. On that night, 12 years ago, there were 2 murders. Are you saying that the other murder was covered up? Who? Just who the heck could have been killed? A murder that was cleverly concealed. All traces of it were erased, and the incident itself was completely deleted from the case files. However, there's one piece of evidence that still remains intact after 12 years. This piece of evidence shows that something happened that night. That's an assassin and a victim. The other murder incident was buried in the dark by Blaise de Best. However, there is still one piece of evidence that remains. God. Okay, I hate to break the momentum here, but every time they say One Piece, I think of One Piece. The recent manga chapters have been so good. Okay, anyway. Agent Lane, it's survived by your father's hands. My old man, you say? Please recall. There was one more thing that was hidden along with the traces of the murder. And that is the existence of the boy who caused the fire. Why did Blaise make the boy disappear? It's because he saw something that he wasn't supposed to see. What was the thing he wasn't supposed to see? Everything is drawn in this picture. The drawing my old man had. The person drawn on the right is most likely the president. The Muzilla doll is also drawn near him. And the person standing opposite him is... I mean, there's literally only one bald person here, so...
Take that!
A man with a knife and a large black dog. He is none other than Sirhan Dogan. What? The assassin? Why would an assassin appear before a president? The answer is clear. Indeed, what occurred that night on the orphanage grounds 12 years ago was not a kidnapping. It was a presidential assassination. How? Then Miss Roland and Mr. Blaise were... Yes, the two were likely partners in crime. One furnished the orphanage to use as the scene of the incident, and the other covered up the young boy's testimony. It's likely that Mr. Cameron was murdered because he witnessed the assassination himself. After all, the kidnapping never actually happened. Stop messing around. You're saying that the president was assassinated 12 years ago? We just found his body today. He's been alive up until now. That's right. I mean, we met him ourselves. If the president was assassinated 12 years ago, and the president's body was found today, that would imply there were 2 presidents. Yeah, and that can't be right. I'm gonna cry. Are you sure about that? There is the possibility that there were 2 presidents. Sweet, sweet validation! That's right. Up until now, I've been getting a strange feeling from the president. Even so, I still respect the man. Zhenfa is a small country, but he carried the nation with his strength. the image of President Juan that Agent Lane described.
You are wrong.
He revealed his true form. Differs far too greatly from the President Juan we knew. It's as if they were two entirely different people. If there were, in fact, two Genva presidents, exactly how would such a scenario be possible?
Wait, when did I get full healed? What would make the existence of the two presidents possible? One of them was a body double. If we were to assume that one of them was a body double, wouldn't it be possible then? A body double. President Juan possessed immense power and authority in Genva. I'm sure there were those who envied his position and made attempts on his life. Yes, just as he was attacked a few days ago at Gourd Lake. It's true, there were those who sought Juan's life from time to time. But I can't easily believe there were two presidents. At least not without any evidence. Do I have evidence that proves there were two presidents? Oh. Actually, this one's a bit harder. Maybe one of the recordings in the doll? No. What about Letter from Unknown? Miss Crane. Get revenge for 12 years ago? No. This was planted by the mastermind. It's unrelated to this. Mostly. Two presidents. Oh. Well. Am I overthinking this? I want to get this on my own. Oh yeah! Oh yeah, this makes sense. This was updated. Good, okay, I'm glad I checked. Yeah, Dylon Lane said that the president was at the embassy until midnight. Meanwhile, the president also had an appointment at midnight in the courtyard of the orphanage to meet with Amy Marsh. And Cameron was a witness to that. I even talked about this earlier. Has Agent Lane not noticed this contradiction? Or has he noticed it but can't admit it? What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't shout something out only to suddenly clam up. According to the recording on the doll, the president visited the orphanage at midnight. However, that should not have been possible. Huh? Why is that? Why? Because at the time the president should have been at the embassy. He was together with Agent Lane's father. So, Agent Lane, you really did notice. He was in two places at the same time, ergo there must have been two presidents. How? Then, which of the two was the real president on that day 12 years ago? Oh God! I mean, I would want to say that the double would stay at the embassy and the real Juan would go to visit his real son. Most likely the one who died. Who contracted Dogen to murder Juan? In order to learn that, first, we must have a look at the evidence that we proved was false earlier. And the piece of evidence we know to be false is the photo.
Take that!
The photo taken with Cameron's camera was taken after he was murdered. And he was murdered because he witnessed the presidential assassination. In other words, the photo must have been taken following the assassination. Given that, who is the president pictured in the fake photo? We must consider him to be the body double. In other words, the body double had the real president murdered and then took his place. Patricia Rowland and Blaze must have cooperated in that plan. Hold it! Juan's body was never found. So where could it have disappeared to? The answer to that is already quite apparent. This is where the real president's body was. In the flower garden? That's the only place I can think of, buried in the garden. What the hell?
Take that!
Last night, there was something Blaze had to unearth with his own two hands. That item was not the ransom. It was something far more important. Oh, so Blaze unburied the real president's body. The possibility is quite high. I really have to feel for John Marsh over there. He's listening to all this going, what the hell, man? What did you say? The bones from the body buried 12 years ago would have still remained. According to Mr. Powers, construction was to begin soon at this lot. That was the deadline. Both for the movie and retrieval of the body. Because they would have found the body when they started the construction. Agent Lane, let us search the footprints that Blaze dug up. Yeah. If the body was buried there, there'd be traces of it. Hey, somebody call forensics. I have the results of the search. We found traces in the dirt that suggest a body was buried here. So it was Juan after all. We also recovered the skeletal remains that Blaze DeBest dug up. They were in his home. In addition to the bone structure, the dental records and the bone fractures all match up. We can confirm that it was indeed President Juan. Wow. So the real President Juan was indeed killed 12 years ago. The SS5 incident was a murder. So the SS5 incident was actually a murder incident. But there's so much information, it's way too confusing. Indeed. Let us take this opportunity to review the details of the case. This is probably the best spot to end things. We'll probably have, another rebuttal session, but with who? Oh, wait, no. I was like, we're gonna talk to Sir Han Dogen. We're gonna order him, go visit him in prison or something. But no, he escaped from prison. He's out there in the wild. Man. I feel like I've been hit by a car. My emotions have gone through feelings in this recording session here. I am just blown away by how well put together this game is. I feel like this is the first time I've actually felt like a desire to replay an Ace Attorney game. I feel like replaying this it would mean so much. How many signs and hints did I miss? Man. It's all connected. The entire game is connected. Yo. And I still feel like the kid who set the fire and made the drawing, yeah, that might have been Pastry Chef Man's kid that he abandoned. I don't know. It would be neat. As far as a connection goes, not neat that the kid was orphaned and abandoned and disappeared. Kind of dark, man. Jeez. Yeah, I'm kind of just sitting over here reeling. The body double was proven unvalidated. I'm glad for that, but boy, I feel like more than any other case in this franchise so far, it is throwing my brain for the biggest loop. There's so much to juggle here. The SS5 from 12 years ago, and the death of the body double here in the present, and the whole thing with the mastermind and what he's done to Kay and Joe Crane and like all that. It's like this case is 3 cases in one, and they're all connected and all ongoing at the same time. Okay, yeah, I've just been spitballing long enough. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.